The courage to carry grief, finding light in life's darkest moments. Welcome to the soft girl era, where we explore what it truly means to embrace softness in a world that often demands our strength. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Kristin Biggs, a remarkable woman whose work in grief advocacy has transformed countless lives. Her insights on navigating loss while maintaining hope have created ripples of healing across communities, particularly among Black women who so often carry the weight of others' pain alongside their own. Kristin isn't just another voice in the crowded space of wellness influencers. She's a beacon of authentic healing, someone who has walked through the valley of grief and emerged not unscathed, but transformed. Her work has literally saved lives, giving people permission to feel their pain fully instead of burying it beneath the suffocating weight of staying strong. In a culture that whispers, move on and get over it, Kristin boldly proclaims that grief deserves space, time, and honor. What struck me most about my conversation with Kristin wasn't just her wisdom, but the gentle power with which she delivers it. There's something almost revolutionary about the way she speaks truth without apology, yet remains profoundly compassionate. It's this rare combination that makes her message resonate so deeply with those who feel broken by loss. Have you ever noticed how we're taught to handle grief? Stay strong, keep busy, time heals all wounds. These well intentioned phrases float around us like paper boats on a tsunami, utterly inadequate for the magnitude of what we're experiencing. They're the emotional equivalent of putting a band aid on a gunshot wound and wondering why the bleeding won't stop. The truth is, grief doesn't follow a neat 5 stage process that ends with acceptance and a tidy bow. Grief is messy, grief is persistent, and grief, as Kristin Biggs so eloquently shared, is also transformative when we choose how to carry it. I want to pause here and really let that sink in. You have a choice in how you carry your grief. This isn't about getting over it or moving on. It's about recognizing that even in your deepest pain, you retain the power to shape how that experience lives within you. Will it define you, consume you, or might it somehow become part of your strength? Consider Kristen Hartnagel, whose journey Kristin shared during our interview. After experiencing profound loss, Kristin found herself in that strange twilight zone where outward success feels completely hollow. You know that place, where you're smiling in the meeting while feeling absolutely shattered inside, where achievements pile up but joy remains elusive. What made Kristin's story remarkable wasn't that she magically escaped grief. It was her conscious decision to stop burying her pain and instead face it directly. She chose vulnerability over the appearance of having it all together. She chose authenticity over the performance of strength. And something extraordinary happened. By speaking openly about her healing process on the Get Strong podcast, Kristin transformed her grief into a beacon for others navigating similar darkness. Her willingness to be seen in her brokenness created space for countless others, particularly Black professionals, to acknowledge their own pain while finding hope through connection. This is what Kristen Biggs means when she says we have a choice in how we carry our grief. We can carry it like a secret shame, or we can carry it forward as part of our story, a chapter, not the conclusion. But let's be honest, making that choice isn't easy, especially for those of us who've spent our lives being the strong one, the dependable one, the one who holds everything together while quietly falling apart. This brings me to Kristen's second powerful truth: healing is possible, and it's a journey, not a destination. We live in an instant gratification culture that has somehow infected even our approach to emotional healing. We want the 5 step plan, the 30-day challenge, the quick fix that will make the pain stop. We want to be over it by some arbitrary deadline we've set for ourselves. But healing doesn't work that way. Healing is not linear, healing has no timeline. Christina Vero's story, which Kristen shared during our conversation, beautifully illustrates this truth. After being nominated for the RBC Canadian Women Entrepreneur Award, Christina could have presented herself as someone who had conquered her emotional wounds. Instead, she chose to model what she calls quiet consistency in healing. Day by day, small act by small act, Christina demonstrated that transformation doesn't happen in dramatic moments of breakthrough. It happens in the steady commitment to showing up for yourself, even when progress feels imperceptible, even when you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, even when healing looks nothing like you thought it would. Her clients reported something remarkable. They learned that even incremental progress could lead them out of despair toward renewed purpose. They discovered that healing doesn't require perfection, just persistence. This is particularly relevant for us as Black women. We've inherited generations of trauma alongside messages that we must remain strong at all costs. We've been taught that vulnerability is weakness, that our pain should remain private, that we should carry not just our burdens, but everyone else's too. Kristin Biggs challenges this narrative. She invites us to see that doing the hard work of facing our pain, messy and raw as it may be, can lead to transformation and purpose beyond what we imagine possible. And this brings us to perhaps the most important truth Kristin shared. You are not alone in your struggle. I need you to hear that again. You are not alone. When grief wraps itself around your heart, it has this insidious way of convincing you that no one could possibly understand, that your pain is uniquely unbearable, that you are somehow separate from the rest of humanity in your suffering. This isolation is perhaps grief's cruelest trick and its most dangerous. After experiencing devastating losses herself, Kristin co founded Heartprints of Loss, a podcast supporting widows navigating the profound loneliness that follows bereavement. She also began speaking at schools, addressing grief resilience among youth who often lack the language to express their pain. What makes these initiatives so powerful isn't just the practical support they offer, though that's significant. It's the simple revolutionary message they convey. Your grief matters. Your story matters. And you don't have to walk this path alone. Through honest storytelling alongside two fellow widows, Kristin offers something that theoretical approaches to grief often miss: the healing power of genuine connection rooted in shared experience. The impact has been profound. Listeners reported feeling seen for the first time since their loss. Some found the courage to seek counseling or join support groups after hearing stories that reflected their own struggles. Students gained language around mental health needs that previous generations never had access to. This is the beautiful paradox at the heart of grief work. When we share our most painful experiences, we not only lighten our own burden, we create space for others to do the same. Kristin's journey from heartbreak through writing her book, Release and Unleash Through Grief, all the way to advocacy work models, what it means to not just survive tragedy, but to use it as fuel for collective healing, particularly within Black communities. that have historically been denied space for mourning. So, what does all this mean for you right now, wherever you are in your journey with grief? It means you have options that might not be visible through the fog of pain. It means that healing, while not linear or predictable, is genuinely possible. And it means that even in your darkest moments, community, support, and hope are available if you're willing to reach for them. I want to challenge you today, not just to hear these words, but to let them become action in your life. Because grief doesn't ask for our intellectual understanding, it demands our courage. The courage to feel everything, even when it hurts. The courage to reach out, even when isolation feels safer. The courage to believe in healing, even when the pain seems permanent. This is not just about personal comfort. This is about cultural revolution. Every time you choose to carry your grief with intention rather than shame, you create ripples that touch countless others. Every time you acknowledge your need for support, you give someone else permission to do the same. We stand at a crossroads. We can continue perpetuating the myth that strength means silence, that healing has a timeline, that grief should be private. Or we can create a new way forward, one where our wounds become wisdom, our pain becomes purpose, and no one walks alone in their darkest hour. The choice is yours, but know this: your choice matters, not just for you, but for everyone watching how you carry what has broken your heart. So I ask you, how will you carry your grief today? And who might find hope in witnessing your journey? The answer to those questions could change everything for you and for someone who desperately needs to know they're not alone. Thank you